All right, very good. Carol, introduce yourself.
I'm Carol Brannon. I go here to Elite Legacy. I've been working out with you for a long time. I don't really know what else to say to introduce myself.
Um, yeah, talk about maybe initially start out with how you started in the gym, what brought you in the gym. Maybe take me through your whole journey because it's been one, right?
It's
And
been one. Yeah. I mean, growing up, I was always an active kid. I played sports. Basketball was my first love. Played basketball, volleyball, softball, a couple years of soccer. I even played some tennis in college. And then I got out of college and stopped all of it. And basically, what I always say is I got old, overweight, and out of shape. And then wasn't me. I didn't choose to come to the gym at all. My wife said, "Will you start at the gym with me?" And I'm like, if I must. So we started going to the gym, and that's how and then we met you there. We had another trainer before you, and then we met you, and that's history. That's how we got there.
maybe take me through a little bit of the beginning stages. You were super athletic. How did you get into sports to begin with? What got you in there? And because you are pretty athletic, and I can see you shoot a basketball, and this looks like you've done it a time or two. So how did
Just a
that start?
couple.
Yeah.
I was just a tomboy growing up. I just wanted to play with the boys. I just wanted to get out there and play whatever they were playing. I wanted to play, get in the mud. Was jumping my bikes, and basketball was my first love. My first goal in life was not to be, well, certainly not to be a princess, but not to be an astronaut or anything. I wanted to play for the Harlem Globetrotters. So that's where that kind of, and then just really anything I could play, I tried it out. Like soccer, I played for 2 years. The first year we were all kids and not real into it. The next year I played with some better kids, and it was a little, I didn't like it. They were a little too rough for me.
Was
So
it all organized? Was it for the school or the high
yeah,
school you went to?
they were all either for school events or like community soccer
Oh,
teams and stuff.
I got you. And what's the high school? Where did you grow up and stuff?
I grew up in Fairmont, West Virginia, and I went to East Fairmont High School my freshman year, and then we moved and I went to Morgantown High. So I went to Morgantown, or moved to Morgantown between my freshman and sophomore years.
What's the difference? We'll get into you eventually moving to North Carolina, but tell me a little bit of the difference between West Virginia and I guess North Carolina.
Hot dog sauce versus hot dog chili,
Oh,
and
okay.
pop versus soda. No, I mean, people down here, they, I say they have accents down here more, but if you go to southern West Virginia, they do have accents. But I'm from northern West Virginia, almost like Pennsylvania.
Okay,
So I don't think we have accents up there.
I got you. And
So, but
yeah, and did you go to West Virginia, the college?
no,
Okay, where did you go?
I went to Fairmont State, which is,
Okay,
Fairmont, which is Fairmont and Morgantown. They're about 20 to 30 minutes apart. So
I got you.
I was just saying today that if WVU would have asked me to walk onto their volleyball team, I would have chose them, but they didn't. Fairmont State offered me a scholarship. So
Oh, I didn't even know that.
yeah, it was a partial scholarship, but
For
yeah,
volleyball.
yes.
Oh, nice. And what position did you play, or I know they go through rotations and stuff, but I don't
Well,
know it in depth.
mine sounds impressive. I was a defensive specialist, which
Oh,
just means I never saw the net. I'd
yeah,
come
yours
in,
on the
go
back
across the
line.
back line, and then I'd leave because I was too short.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so we went through West Virginia through the sports thing. Take me through maybe the mindset behind getting out of all the activity to none. What kind of transpired that, or your thoughts or your mindset through that part of your life?
Well, I played volleyball for 2 years, and then the third year he wanted too much, which I know that you're going to be disappointed in this story.
Yeah.
But he wanted us to do all kinds of stuff in the off season, and he's like, even if you're just lifting gallons of milk or whatever, you got to do this and you got to report in. And I said, I'm not willing to give up my summer for that, so I quit.
Mm.
So it was all about, I wasn't willing. I knew that I didn't want to do that, and I wasn't going to do it, so I quit.
Yeah, and was it some organized program that he had you guys do or try to do, or how did that?
I mean, he had the program set up that he gave to us, and we were supposed to follow it and report in. We didn't meet and do it, but we were just supposed to do it on our own. And I said,
Uh,
I'm not going to do that on my own.
I got you.
So
Well, at least because some people would maybe just not do anything the whole summer and then
yeah,
come back the next year. But you kind of, but still, even still, that there was long period of your life to where, I guess, before you started back getting into the gym, how long was that period?
Mm, gosh, I mean, I was my third year in college when I stopped all the sports, and then I don't know. I mean, when did I start going to the other gym?
When
Because
was I
that was
there?
the first time I stepped foot in a gym.
Wow, so that's 2015. That's when I was there. I don't know when you guys stepped in, but I know it was somewhere around that time
Yeah,
period, right? 2015,
probably.
2016. So Michelle encourages you to come into the gym. How does that conversation go?
Well, she had asked before, "Do you want to start going to the gym?" I said no,
Yeah.
no, and we were both very overweight, and so she's like, "Do you want to go to the gym?" I said no. So then she took some steps to lose weight, and then she was like, "We need to start working out, or I'm going to gain this weight back." And I said, "Okay." She's like, "Will you go with me?" She basically had to ask me to support her, not for my health. And I was like, "Fine, I'll go with you." So
Yeah.
we started going to the gym, and it was intimidating walking in. I'm like, "Look at me. I don't belong in this gym." But everyone was super sweet. And I remember the first day we walked in there. I don't know if you want me to say names of someone that was on the treadmill. Do you want me to tell
It's
that
up to
story?
you. Yeah, sure.
Tiffany was on the treadmill. You remember Tiffany?
Tiffany, yep.
And she looked miserable. Her face was red. It looked like she wanted to be anywhere but there. She just looked completely miserable. And in my head, I said, "She's not going to make it. She's not going to be coming back." And then we started working out, and every day we'd go in there and she'd be in there working out, still looking as miserable as the first day. and, but yeah, so then and then one day I think we took some time off for vacation or something, and we came back in and I looked at her, I said, "Oh my God, she has lost so much weight." And in my head I thought, if she can look that miserable and still do it, I can actually do it. And so every time for like a year, she was my inspiration. Every time I thought about quitting, I'm like, if Tiffany can be that miserable and still do it, I can do it too. So that was like for my motivation for like a year, I think.
That's a fantastic story.
Yeah.
Fantastic story. So I guess your first time walking in, of course, uh, maybe speaking to the fact that the initial step into the gym, yeah, it's intimidating, but maybe how it wears off or how quickly it wears off. Is there a sense of that to you, or do you think you still carry that intimidation for a while, or
I mean, well, me, just my personality, I feel like I'm always intimidated.
oh,
But yeah, I think it does. Once I learned how to use stuff, the biggest thing for me was learning how to use the equipment because I don't like to look like an idiot.
right?
So if I didn't know what I was doing, I just wouldn't do something. So getting a trainer immediately was important to learn how to use the equipment and learn how to do this and learn how to do this movement without hurting myself because I've had injuries. And so once I knew that, then I was at least comfortable walking in. I was still intimidated,
Yeah,
but at least I knew what I was doing.
right. So now you're still going to the gym, and everything is still, you're into it, dedicated, at least 3 times a week, whatever your protocol is. What's still bringing you back to the gym?
Well, I'm not like your typical people that you talk to on here that this is what I'm all about. For me, it was probably years, and there was never like a switch that flipped like, "Oh my God, I love this. This is what I want to keep doing." It was more of a gradual thing. One day I just woke up and I was like, I just wake up and I go to the gym. That's just what I do. And I just realized it was a part of what I was doing. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, this is, so I just had to keep doing it. Even when I didn't want to, I just had to keep doing it.
Yeah, I think one of the major motivating factors for you is uh, you don't want to let other people down, or you thrive off being there for somebody.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's kind of like your motivating factor, or that keeps you in it, being a part of a community because you got a workout group of 4 people,
Mm-hmm.
and being a part of that? Would you say that's one of the main things that kind of keeps you going, keeps you ticking?
Yeah, because if we're gonna bail, because usually and a lot of times if I don't really feel like going and I would not go, Michelle's like, "We gotta go," or if she's feeling like she's not gonna go, and then I'm like, "I'm gonna go." So the two of us together, one of us is usually okay going to the gym, so we motivate the other one to go because typically if one misses, the other one's gonna miss, and
I
then we
bet you.
leave Teresa. Well, now we have the other Teresa, so
Yeah,
but then we would leave them out without anybody to work out with. So yeah, so a lot of it is
yeah.
we got to be there for Teresa.
That's one of my favorite things about it, or things that keep me inspired, is just the personal responsibility for being accountable for others.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a powerful thing. So you're type 1 diabetic,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when was it you found out?
When I was 15.
How was that?
Uh,
What led to the process of you finding out? Tell me
well,
about all that.
we knew something was wrong with, well, okay. So I injured my knee, first of all. I tore my ACL. And then 3 months after I had reconstructive surgery on it, I almost passed out in the hospital. Or 3 months afterward, I'm sorry, I'm getting my story. I'm a little nervous. I'm
Yeah,
getting
take
my
your time.
story mixed up.
Take your time.
But I had surgery, and then I had to get a physical to do to play sports for the next year. And so we were just going in for my physical, but my mom knew something was wrong with me. After I had knee surgery, I kept saying, "Oh, I'm going to gain so much weight and all this," but instead I was losing weight and I was eating a ton. But my mom actually thought I was anorexic
Oh,
because that's how
wow.
much weight I was losing. So we went to the pediatrician, and I weighed 96 pounds. After weighing 125, 125, 120, going back to when I was 12 years old, I weighed like 123 pounds, and then I weighed 96 pounds. And they're like, "Well, you need to go over to the hospital." So we went straight from there to the hospital, which sort of worked out. My mom was going to get me McDonald's afterwards, and I hadn't eaten. So we went to the hospital, and it was better. They could get a fasting blood sugar, and we could go ahead and get the treatment started immediately. So,
Yeah.
and I spent a week in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the mental mind game of finding out you're type 1 diabetic? Your life has changed. Well, maybe you didn't even know the gravity of it, but that moment.
I did not know the gravity. I didn't know anything about diabetes. We knew there was a neighborhood boy that had it, and his mom was really overprotective of him, and that's all I knew. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to treat it. You become an expert really fast, though.
Yeah.
And but it was scary. It was the last time I can remember like crying on my mom's shoulder because the doctor left the room and said, "Are you okay?" And I went, "No," and I just started bawling. But yeah, spending a week in the hospital, that in and of itself is scary when you're 15, staying by yourself in the hospital. I was right next to the nurse's station, and so it was really loud. And I had really bad insomnia at that point, so I read every night. But with my blood sugar coming down, it messed with my eyesight, so I couldn't even read. So yeah, and they were waking me up every hour to take my blood sugar anyway. It was horrible.
So how is it you manage it now? Or like what are the protocols for managing the diabetes that keeps you on track? I know it's not easy, but I know there's a way you can control it a little bit. So take me through that protocol.
Yeah, I have an insulin pump and a sensor, a continuous glucose monitoring sensor. So that helps a ton. And the pump that I have now will adjust it if my blood sugar is high. It'll adjust it and give me more insulin, which is amazing. So
Yeah.
and I only know about type 1 diabetes. Before anyone watches this and says that's not how type 2 works, I don't know anything about type 2.
Right.
Well, very little.
What about exercise and eating healthy?
Yeah.
Does that how does that play into it?
Everything plays into diabetes.
Okay.
Every single thing in your life, what you eat, your exercise, your mood, if you're stressed out, if you're sick, your hormones, certain times of the month, your blood sugar just goes up without warning. So every single thing you do in life affects your blood sugar. So
yeah, and the thing that keeps you, I guess, on top of things is just the fact that you're always monitoring it, right?
yes.
Yeah, I have an uncle that doesn't take care of his, and it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, well, you got to stay on top of this thing if you want to live a normal life as much as you can.
But it's hard, and I went through years when I didn't take care of myself. When I was like, screw it, I don't care. I started smoking, which I was told when I was diagnosed that smoking is like playing Russian roulette, and I started smoking anyway. I was rebelling, and it was tough. I had to come to it that I had to do something.
Yeah.
So
you work out with Michelle, Teresa, and the other Teresa,
new
the Golden
Teresa T2, yeah.
Yeah, the Golden Girls.
Yes.
So you're working out with your partner. How is that? How is playing that minefield? How do you navigate through that?
Most of the time it's good. Like I said, we kind of, if one's feeling a little down, the other one will get them up. Most of the time it's good. There are instances, like there'll be times when we're just not getting along. And most people don't know it. You've probably seen days when we come in here and you can tell we're just not really getting along, but we try not to put that out there, and we still work out fine. Both of us can put that aside. We can do our workout. We're just not going to laugh and joke with each other that day. But,
Yeah.
But I think it's good. Without her, I would never be here.
Yeah.
So I think she would probably do it by herself before I would do it by myself.
Really?
Yes. she's much more self-sufficient than me.
Yeah.
Like I'm freaking out not having her here as my security blanket with me today.
Taking it all solo.
Right, exactly.
Also with the other Teresas, Teresa Travis has been a great. She's become a great friend of you guys.
Yes.
Maybe take me through that. She'll when I have her on, she'll have a funny story about her first boot camp, but we'll save that for her. But how did that get introduced, and maybe talk about her a little bit or what she's brought to the light to the group?
I'm not even sure how we met, honestly. I don't remember starting to work out with her. I don't know if you said, hey, why don't you work out with that? I have no idea.
I don't know if I remember
It's
either.
just kind of how it is. We just have been working out with her for years now, and I don't know. It's weird that I don't remember that, isn't it?
Well, I think
I don't even remember the first time I met her.
Did you come to the first boot camp I ever had out here? Or we were running around in the parking lot?
I mean, I feel like I came to this gym with you, so I probably did, but I don't remember it.
I just remember her. She's got a funny story about her perspective of it. But anyway, if you were there, that's probably how you met. But Teresa is so easygoing and so like she can
likes
talk.
Everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
And I don't know if she started talking about training because I think she jumped on early.
Yeah,
as soon as I got
think
here.
So too.
And then her time matches up about the same time as y'all's time, right? And I think maybe I put you guys together and it just worked. I don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
It's weird that I don't remember that.
Yeah, for sure. So you like to run. That's your thing.
I do.
Why is it you like to run?
I have no idea.
What kind of psychopath likes that?
I have no idea. When I was younger, I would have asked the same question. When I was playing all those sports, when they told us to go run a mile, I hated it. I don't know. I think, well, when I started back at the gym, I started having shoulder issues because another issue with diabetes is frozen shoulders. So I had a couple shoulder surgeries. So for like a year, all I could do was lower body and cardio. So I started running on the treadmill a little bit, and that 30 seconds was tough. And jumping from 30 seconds to a minute running on the treadmill, I felt like I was going to die. But then once you get over that hump, everything's, once you get to 5 minutes and run, and it was one day you said, how fast can you run a mile? And I said, I don't know. And you said, go run a mile on the treadmill. So I went and I ran a mile on the treadmill. That was a Wednesday. And then I got home and told Michelle, I said, I think I want to start running. Yeah. And it was just like that. And that Saturday we went to New Balance to look for shoes or whatever. And they had a free 5K training starting next Saturday. Said, sign me up.
Bam.
Rest is history. I've been running ever since.
Yeah. Go through the 5K training because y'all met every so often.
Twice a week. We met, I think it was Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings. And Michelle was happy for it because I get that runner's high. And if you think I talk fast now, I mean, I talk a lot and fast. When I get done running, it's just nonstop. So the run club gave me a chance to, wind down with the girls. Us girls would be talking and stuff for a good 30 minutes. And then by the time I got in the car, Michelle was like, okay, you stayed longer. That's good. So yeah. And I feel like it sort of gave me a way to compete again because I hadn't really had that feeling since playing sports in college, and I didn't realize how much I missed it till I was doing something else again. Now, when I say compete, it's not like I'm going to win any of these races or anything, but I'm still competing. You're competing against your time. Yes. Or, whatever. Just to do it. Yeah. And working out with the group, how many of y'all was it? And like in that first run club? Kind of take me through the protocol of what y'all would do just in case there anybody listening that maybe wants to start running. Well, we started out, they taught us stretches and stuff for how to warm up, a dynamic warm up with the high knees and the butt kicks and all of that stuff. And then he would take us out and we'd say, okay, we're going to run a mile. And he would watch how we ran and whether we had good form. Like you need to lean forward more. You need to land on, the ball of your feet. You need to, and the coach would tell us that. And there was probably only 5 or 6 of us in that first run club. There were 4 that I stayed close with. My running partner, Aaron, even though we haven't run together in years, but I still call her my running partner. And then a couple other girls and then even after run club stopped, we would meet every Saturday morning and run. And what would y'all run? Like for example, how long was the program? I don't remember how long. If you had to take a guess. 8 weeks. 8 weeks, and then you started out with like running, obviously, and then we worked our way up to the 5K, which is 3.1. Okay. Nice. So, and then when we would, after we finished and us girls would just meet, outside of it, we started up on the mileage and we would get up to 5 and 6 miles,
You've
usually on the ATT in Downland, Durham.
and you've worked up to a half marathon, right?
Yes, I've done 2 half marathons.
Take me through it.
Well, the first one, I don't remember where I got the training program for it. I think my run coach from New Balance actually gave me and said, "Here, this is how you do it." I wasn't training with him or anything, but he gave it to me. And I was running. That's the first time I did a bunch on my own, running by myself, because every other time I had Aaron to run with me. And I liked having the plan where you're going to run this day, this day, this day, and this day. I was supposed to run 4 days a week. I realized that's too much. I can't run 4 days a week. 3 is my max. And then I did other work. I could do other workouts with it. So 3 run days a week is my max. And then working out 1 or 2 days. Maybe I combine, like a Wednesday night, I'll do a short run 1 or 2 miles and then work out at the gym too.
Okay.
So, and then you just slowly up your mileage. I remember that 10-mile I ran over here at the Butner Athletic Park around in circles.
Oh my goodness.
It was horrible.
Oh my goodness.
The next week I had to do 12 and it was so much easier than that 10 miles in a circle. It was horrible. Yeah.
How many times around is that?
I don't even know. It was a bunch. It felt like forever.
So the first one, where was it at?
The first one was in Raleigh. It was the City of Oaks.
Okay. And the second one?
The second one was with you.
Oh, yeah, we did run that.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that was interesting, running through Golden Pond.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And the first one, I didn't really try to deal with my blood sugar on it. I would just jack my blood sugar up before the run and hope it lasted. I took some food and I would eat it during it, but I didn't try to keep it in control. I just tried to get it high enough to get me through. When I trained for yours, that was my focus. I didn't even care about the distance. I didn't care how fast I ran. I didn't care if I had to walk. I was determined to finally deal with my blood sugar. And I did good. Like when I ended the race, I had energy. My blood sugar was in decent control. It was a little high, but.
So with the first one, what happened with not caring about it? Or like, did it?
Yeah, I finished that race feeling horrible. I didn't think I was going to finish. And one of the ways I know that it's a lot mental is I was talking to Michelle on the phone. I get bored. I call people. My music wasn't doing it, so I call people while I'm out running. Still, some Saturday mornings I'll call my sister. She'll be like, "You're running, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah." So, but I was talking to Michelle periodically, and she was tracking me on the little app. And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "If I could just get to that 10-mile mark. I just need to get to the 10-mile mark," because I was struggling. She's like, "You've already passed 10 miles." I said, "I don't think so." But then I got in my head, I only have a 5K left.
Yeah.
And then I saw the 10-mile mark. And that zapped all my energy. It was the longest 3 miles ever. I was walking. Erin, who I'd left behind because she was doing a walk around because she was having a knee issue, she caught up to me and tried to stay with me. But she's like, I'm like, "I would have left you a long time ago. You got to go. It's race day." Like, we're partners when we're training. We run together when we're training. Race day, you go. When I crossed the finish line, I couldn't even they were giving out donuts or something at the end. I couldn't even eat it. I felt sick. I was nauseous. I couldn't eat until like 4 o'clock that day because I was just nauseous and my blood sugar was over 400. Yeah, and then I was like, I need to get that under control.
So how do you manage it? Or what's the process of what did you do the second time to kind of manage it?
I tried to keep it in range, which meant I had a lot more lows, which meant I had to abort runs, which is, I never wanted to abort a run. Like, if I'm supposed to do 6 miles today, I'm going to do 6 miles.
You're talking about through the training.
Yes, through the training. That's when you really learn, what you need. Maybe you need to eat every 30 minutes. Maybe you need to eat every mile and a half, 3 miles. I mean, whatever the case may be. Maybe you need to see how you feel.
And on race day, is there anything you're doing as far as, like, I don't know. I know you take those glucose tablets. Like, do you have to?
I mean, I try to keep race day the same as a normal training day.
I got you.
The only difference is I make sure to eat because you need more energy. Yeah. Well, when you get into the longer runs, when you get up 8, 10, 12 miles, you kind of want to eat before you run anyway, even though my blood sugar does much better when I don't eat. So I try to eat to have that on board, but not go too high. I make sure my pump is in exercise mode, so it'll try to keep it a little and give me some more leeway. And then I try to do the same thing I do on my training runs. But normally on race day, I'm really nervous. So my blood sugar is typically really high anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Is there any more runs? Do you want to continue doing races, or is that phase, Is that something in the past, or
No, I still want to run. I know I haven't run a whole lot lately, but
as far as distance, like doing a half marathon or doing a full or whatever, 10K?
I have no desire to do a full marathon.
I got you.
Maybe eventually I will, but right now I think a half is the most I want to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would like to do more, but honestly, I enjoy the Rugged Maniacs, so
Oh yeah, that's right.
I want to do more stuff like that, but I need to get more agile.
I got you.
So that's my next thing. I told them after that bench press competition that I wanted to work on like my agility and do stuff like that.
Let's go there. Let's take it to the Rugged Maniac. How long ago was that?
Well, the second one was in October.
Yes.
The first one was in April, I think.
Both the same year.
Yes.
Okay.
It was so much fun. I signed up for the next one.
Yeah. First one was with Jacob.
Yes.
So you and Jacob.
Yes.
And so what's so fun about it? What's so attractive? What do you like?
I mean, I don't know. It was just, I felt like a kid.
Yes.
Rolling around in the mud, crawling on the ground, climbing over things. It was, I don't know, I felt like a kid.
Yeah, it is very playful.
Yes.
Playful.
And the second time we had the whole group of us, so it was kind of awesome. I felt bad holding you guys back. Me and my sister were in the back of the group, but it was still awesome that we all helped each other. And even when you're not with people, they'll help you out.
Yeah, that was the coolest part of it to me. Is like, yeah, sure. Do I want to do this race the best I can? Maybe that's attractive. I could see if that's attractive to some people, and that's their thing. But my thing was more of just doing it with you guys, and I think that's kind of the attitude that everybody hung around with did, because it's fun. We're community fit, right? That was the fun of it. So Rugged Maniacs is kind of the venue you're leaning towards going forward.
I would like to do more of those, yes.
I got you.
Although, honestly, I mean, I skipped a couple obstacles this last time, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't have skipped those obstacles. So I need to get better before doing another one.
You did it with your sister?
Yes.
Take me through that. Or how did she like it? How was it doing with your sister? And she lives, where is it?
She lives in West Virginia still. Okay. She drove all the way down here to do it. She had a great time and is ready to do another one. Immediately afterwards, she was ready to do another one, even though her legs are all bruised up and stuff, which mine were too.
Mine were too.
But yeah, even with that, we're like, I'm ready to go. Yeah. So she said she's going to train and run more, since she didn't train at all with the running. She goes to the gym every day. She does a boot camp, but not every day. But she's consistently in the gym. She does spin class and boxing and all of that.
Oh,
but
wow.
She doesn't do like running.
How does that spin class for her? Does she talk about that at all?
She hasn't, but she did just buy a spin bike.
Oh my goodness.
But she's been sick, so she hasn't even used it yet. She just got it last week.
Those spin classes are crazy.
I know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I mean, kudos to her for doing that. And is she like you with the cardio? When she gets done with the cardio, does she have that crazy runner's high?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen her do any cardio. She's usually, I'm not there when she works out. So
I didn't know if she ever gave you a random call.
Yeah,
no.
Like,
Carol.
No, I don't think she does.
I don't know how you have enough energy to call somebody while you're running, because when I'm running, I can't focus on anything else but getting to the destination.
Right.
That's just me. I'm like, if anything, sometimes I'll listen to music and I'll feel like it's like a distraction, which is interesting.
Yeah, and if I don't have something, and that's exactly what I want. I don't want to be thinking about what my body's doing right now. I want to be as far away from it as possible, so I can just keep going.
Yeah, so we got to start training for that, right? Or we're training for that. What's coming next? I know we got the Rugged Maniac as far as your training protocol. How is it you're progressing in that venue?
Well, I haven't progressed anywhere yet. I mean, we did the bench press competition, so I tend to focus on whatever my next event is. And like if it's a powerlifting competition, I train really hard for that, and everything else falls by the wayside. Or the bench press competition, that's what I was training for. So now that it's over, then Thanksgiving came, and then I got sick. So this week is the first week I've been back in the gym. So it was sort of an easier week, just kind of getting a feel for it. Today we did some stuff outside in the 42-degree weather and seeing if I can breathe without going into a coughing fit.
I have seen you guys do a little bit more circuits lately, or Teresa's been saying you guys are trying to get some of those going.
Before the bench press competition, that was our Thursday night workout. We went outside and we did battle ropes and ball balls and squat jumps and kettlebell swings, and we always put a run or something like that at the end of each round.
Yeah. So you've done some bench press competitions or some powerlifting,
Mm-hmm.
local stuff. You know, you're pretty strong with the bench. Maybe take me through, I guess, that and all it entails, and heavy squats and heavy deadlifts and heavy bench. You know, I know it can be monotonous, but yeah, I know you're not a fan of going super heavy because it makes you a little bit nervous. But maybe about crossing that barrier, or getting the courage when it's time.
I just, it's not what I mean, I don't really care to go heavy. I don't really care how much I squat. Well, I say that now, but if we're in a competition, I want to go, like, I want to get 300 pounds, or I don't care how much I deadlift, but in a competition, I want to get 300 pounds, which I did in the last competition, by the way. But I don't know. I worry about getting hurt. I feel like, especially with deadlift, I'm so scared to hurt my back doing deadlift. My dad has had back problems his whole life. So I don't want that for me for the rest of my life. And so it just scares me. Squats sort of the same way. I mean, I've had knee issues, but it's kind of like, I feel like the benefits do not outweigh the risks.
Yes.
In my opinion, like going heavy, what good's that going to do? It might get me through this competition, but then what? If I hurt myself, I can't do anything else. I can't run anymore or whatever. So I like doing bench press, and I like going heavy on bench because I don't think I'm going to hurt myself.
Right.
So.
And running is your primary thing that makes you happy.
That's what
So we don't want to risk that.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I say the same thing with powerlifting. It's at a certain point, the risk is not worth the reward. I don't want to be hurt. I want to be able to move.
Right.
I got to train and be here and stuff. I want to be able to do everything I can do, because
right.
If I have a gimp, it's like, oh, how am I going to show this person how to do this if I can't?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Got a torn ACL or something. I don't know, which is crazy.
And the older you get, the longer it takes to heal. Like when I trained for that first half marathon, my foot was bothering me a little bit, but I just kept running through it. I'm like, it's fine. After we were done, I had to take 10 months off. I couldn't run for 10 months. So when I was in college, it would have been like a couple weeks and I'd have been good. But now that I'm getting older, when something starts hurting, man, I lay off of it.
Yeah,
I don't want to be out for a year.
Go through the 10-month without the running thing, because I know you were pretty, sad about it at first, or even through the whole process.
Yeah, through the whole thing, all I wanted to do was go out and run. When you can't do something, that's of course what you want to do. I still worked out at the gym and it was fine, but I just couldn't do the extended pounding on it. So I had to do, when I did cardio, I had to do the elliptical, which I don't like, or the bike, or it's just not as much fun.
One thing too, I know you guys got Jerry now, which is Michelle's dad.
Mm-hmm.
You're rolling him around back and forth, and he's older and he makes the silver sneaker class. But talk about how that's kind of been a challenge in life, because I mean it's an adjustment. You added a new person to the mix. Maybe.
Now, I thought somebody else. Now, I know I'm not the easiest person to live with. Michelle's probably the only person that will live with me. That's why I have to stay with her, because no one else will put up with me like she does. So I thought it was going to be really bad having anybody move in with me, and especially her dad, because I got to behave around her dad. I can't. It's my father-in-law. So, but it's not been that bad at all. He's been fine. He's happy-go-lucky about stuff. I mean, we can't watch all of the shows we want to watch at all the times. We'll have to wait till he's not there, or we go upstairs and watch him. But that's minor. The biggest issue in terms of fitness and all of this, because he comes to the gym with us almost every night when we come to, and he does his little workout, and but his food, because he's not okay eating the same thing every single night. So on Saturday and Sunday, when we're doing our meal prep, Michelle tries to accommodate him more and say, what do you want? And it started out with 2 choices. And I'm like, okay, we can make those 2 choices work. But now it's 3. And I'm like, we got to make all this stuff on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I'm going to eat the same thing every night. So it's tough. And it's tough to eat different than the other people in your house. Because there was one time when we were doing the New Year, New Me last year, I was doing it and neither one of them were. So I was eating a different meal every night for dinner than they were. Oh. So, yeah. So I just need to stand up and say, this is what I need to do. And, it's hard, though, to not eat with them.
Yeah, with nutrition. Talk about the mind game or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not very good with nutrition. That's my weak spot because, and my thing is because I feel like I'm lazy. I'm one of the laziest people ever. Like, I don't want to think about it. That's why I actually like meal prepping. I like getting my whole week done, do it, work a couple hours on Saturday or Sunday doing it, and then everything's set for you. You know, and I think Rick said that in his that you don't have to think about it. Pop it in the microwave, you're done. I don't want to have to worry about what we're going to have for dinner. I don't want to have to plug everything into my Fitness Pal. I want to plug it in once, see that it works, and then just eat that all week. And yeah, I'm not very good at that. And then people will bring cookies to work, and I want to have some cookies. So I need to get better. I need to get back to being better.
Is that kind of where it downfalls with, I guess, when at work, or is it sometimes a Friday, Saturday night? It's you want to have something different. You want to have a night out. Like, is it, or is that where it kind of?
Yeah, all of it.
All of
pretty
it.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't go into the office a whole lot, so it's probably not that as much. But yeah, it's let's go out, let's go have Mexican, and when I'm at Mexican, I'm gonna have my margarita, and
I find that's where mine falls apart, especially Friday, Saturday night. I'm tired of it. I want to
relax,
and I want a reward too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a reward mindset. Whereas Friday night or Saturday night, whichever one, I've done good all week, worked hard, whatever, worked out. I want some.
Yeah, just want to relax tonight, and do whatever. Yeah,
watch a movie and eat something good.
Some popcorn, potato chips.
Whatever.
Ice cream.
Yeah, I'll get the spaghetti going and some garlic bread and eat till I feel full as crap. And then the next time you always understand why you eat good after you eat all that, because it's like, God, I feel like crap, right? Do you feel like that at all?
I don't, and that's another problem. Like, I don't feel like all these other people talk about. You feel great when you eat. I don't really feel necessarily great. What I do notice is when I don't eat good, the biggest thing is I'm hungry all the time.
Oh.
So I'm just hungry all the time. I just keep going back to the kitchen. I'm hungry. Immediately after I eat, I'm hungry. Which I still don't feel bad. I'm just hungry. And when I'm eating good, I'm not necessarily hungry all the time. But
yeah, that's where the protein comes in, because most people, when they're not eating good or where they feel hungry all the time, it's because they're not getting any protein in their diet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing.
And fat.
Okay, that's fat for you, yeah. But I just notice immediately when I eat protein, it's like, oh, I'm not as hungry anymore. I can go a long time without eating. That's what kind of fuels me, so I don't eat so much. Like, I don't keep random stuff around the house, but if I were to, it would cause that.
Yeah, that's what I had this conversation with Jerry the other day, because I was telling him that when I'm not eating good, I'm hungry all the time and I just keep eating. He said, yeah, the other morning, he said, I had my cereal. He said, and then I had a granola bar. And then I had some potato chips and I was still hungry. I said, because all you're eating is carbs. He was like, but at least I wasn't eating my big breakfast of eggs and sausage and toast. I said, that would be better for you because you're getting some protein and fat in there. So yeah, one of these days, maybe he'll listen to me.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Good luck with that. Yeah. Good luck. Well, the last thing I kind of want to close with is, I know you personally, and you have this, you want this relaxation point. You want to, that's kind of the goal, because you'll work to a point and then you're like, okay, I got to the point, I can relax a little bit, or whatever it is. But that is obviously our pitfall too, right? How do we find the balance of relaxing versus, the fine line of finding when it is to get back on the game or whatever? How do we navigate that?
Well, I obviously don't have an answer because I gained all my weight back, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe it does kind of have to be all or nothing. I might have to think about it forever. I mean,
well, I'm getting these conclusions too, because we're all human, right? We all want to relax and enjoy and have fun, but I don't know. There's some areas in my life where the relaxing needs to, if I want to grow or whatever it is, it's like I have to sacrifice that a little bit. And, it's a tough thing to sacrifice because, but here we go again. We got to find the balance, because you need time to relax. You need downtime or whatever, but how much is too much is the question.
Right. And a lot of times it's not the long-term goals that'll get you there. I had a conversation with my sister not too long ago, and she said somebody she went to high school with had a heart attack. She was like, I look at that and that makes me want to go back to the gym, because I gotta lose weight. And I said that wouldn't do it for me. And she said, "What?" I said, "No, it wouldn't do it for me." Thinking about what could happen in the future, I said, being able to, do something today, like get up and down off the floor, or tie my shoes easier. And I said, those are the types of things that will motivate me, stuff I can see right now. So I think that is where I need to find something to focus on right now.
And also going back to the thing that primarily motivates you is the accountability to others, right? Or the responsibility to others. You do well with that. If you can somehow, this is how I keep going. It just is. For example, I was talking about my uncle with the diabetes. He doesn't take care of himself, so that puts everything on everybody else. And it's so selfish to me, because if you took so my family are trying to put him in like assisted living, but he doesn't want to give up his freedoms for that. But instead of doing what's best for everybody else, because my grandma has to go over there every day to make sure he's alive and breathing and stuff, instead of thinking about everybody else, he's just so selfish thinking about himself.
Right.
Because he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to take accountability. He doesn't want to take responsibility. So everybody else is over here stressed out because he's not doing his part. Not saying this is you, but that accountability or that responsibility to others, I don't know, maybe when you get older or whatever, like, am I going to be hassle to other people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the thing that hopefully will keep me in shape when I'm older and up in the 70s and 80s. Like, listen, I don't want to be a hassle on my kids, or, I'm just kind of relating it to the bigger picture with a story I got. But if you can somehow relate it to, I don't know, that too. Not saying,
right.
Not saying that you're going to be in that position, but
I got Michelle. Michelle's a good caregiver. I'll be all right.
For sure. For sure. Is there anything you want to finish with or end with? Anything going forward? Any big goals in 2023?
I just want to get back on it. That's my thing. Just get back. I'm the perfect example that food is even more of an issue than the gym, because through all of this, with the exception of a few months when everything was shut down for COVID, I've been coming to the gym for years. I lost, 50 pounds or whatever, and I gained it all back. Still coming to the gym every day. The difference is I'm not eating right. And food is a bigger part than the gym. So if you don't get the food under control, the gym's not going to do a whole lot. So.
You heard it here. Breaking news.
Right.
All right, Carol. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was a good
thank
time.
you.
You're welcome.